Welcome all to a new business opportunity of mine. I'm calling it Dylan's Lessons in Anatomy. But I should really be calling it, I need a night job to make ends meet. I may as well get us started with the body of a Dylan. Pretty rare breed we are, a subspecies of human that carry the weight of owning too many of these things. It has its ups and downs being a Dylan, one being that we don't have a spine. Yeah, we lost them to evolution in the 17th century, the more you know. No one knows the true reason, but some speculate it's something to do with this PlayStation 3 Platinum Hits box. What the f*** were they thinking?
I think I just threw up in my mouth. When you've bought too many video games, you'll realise you spend more time looking at one specific area of the box than any other. If you're weird, it's the opener. If you're crazy, it's the top. But if you're borderline insane, it's the front. But if you're normal, it's the spine.
Honestly, I thought it was going to be the back. You don't see many people keeping their spines on the outside of their bodies. Spines are one of the most important aspects of a video game box, arguably the most important part. I see plenty of stores organising their games to show only the spine, so I don't see why it matters any less than the box art in terms of catching the consumer's attention. It's pretty easy to get them right. Just use the game's logo or typeface with a wraparound of the box art. For some companies...
Before we can really sink our teeth into some spines, I think it's only fair to look at their predecessors to fully gauge their impact on modern gaming. Or something like that. End labels! Everyone's favourite, you flip a cartridge over and boom, a little indicator. Now, let's go through my cartridges to find a cool end label to talk about. Super Mario World, Super Tennis, Mario Kart Super Circuit, and George Foreman's Knockouts.
Huh. Yeah, surprisingly enough, end labels weren't industry standard. Companies would chop and change whether they had them or not. Like Nintendo. The NES had end labels, but with the release of the N64, they dropped them in favour of you staring at hard plastic for hours. Now we truly know what it feels like to be an N64 joystick. In the United States, Nintendo lovingly kept the end labels on the SNES. But across the pond, we got shafted! It's alright for me, I only own 3 SNES games. But I can't count past number 5! So what'll I do if I end up with... this many SNES games!
As the gaming industry moved forward from soggy cardboard to soggy cases, the tradition of end labels lived on through spines. These are examples of my favourite spines, the wraparound. You take your box art, let it naturally spread onto the spine, then use the logo of your game to display the title. I mean, look at this, it just looks... nice! Double marks of the spine also includes a matching header for the console the game is on, so I'll write that down as a C+ for the PlayStation 3. Look, the PS3 is getting a lot right here. We've got wraparound art with the game's logo as the spine's text, and then we split timelines. Early into the PS3 era, Sony really wanted to flex their muscles with the Spider-Man license, and decided to use that same Spider-Man logo font for the PS3. Unfortunately, the only thing that flexing caused was an Xbox 360 head start and an anti-doping test. So the company panics, looks at the PS2 logo, rounds up the corners, and calls it a night. I prefer this logo. The Spider-Man font is cool, but it has its limits. But hey, that quest to discuss the PS3 logo change did lead to my next point, just straight up iffy logo sizes. It's kind of hard to explain, but compare this logo layout to this one. Some companies will cut their game's logo up into little pieces and have it cover a decent area of the spine and a good size, and others will cheat. This isn't good. This is lame.
So, Squish logos. They're awful, they're morally wrong, they're worse than national tragedies. This is very clearly the one part of video games I hate the most. TLDR, they suck. But, if you can somehow f***ing believe it, there's something even worse out there. Something dangerous, something that poses a threat to your friends and loved ones. And it comes in the form of Arial fonts.
Could have solved this entire problem if you just used Calibri. This is the saddest way I've ever seen a publisher give up. You just forgo using a logo on the spine entirely and opt for the first font you see on Word. It looks like the graphic designer had 30 minutes to design the spine and used those 30 minutes to call the writers.
Yeah, hello, you're talking to the Chief Writing Department for... Sackboy: A Big Adventure.
Install Word 2003! I think the most egregious example I can find of this is Sackboy: A Big Adventure. The game's art wraps around, which I like, but they decided to use a standard font instead of the game's logo. Like, the game is still recognisable, don't get me wrong, it's not like you're gonna lose it anywhere because of it, but it just... It just looks wrong, okay? This shouldn't be allowed. But you wanna know what's worse? When companies forgo wraparound art, forgo cool typefaces, and just leave us with this. Actually, this is pretty okay.
Now I know what you're thinking. Dylan, you just said this completely plain spine sucks. Well, there's an exception! I think my biggest gripe with spines is the lack of consistency. Most of my PS5 library have nice wraparound artwork with glorious logos, but then you have your Devil May Cry's, your Sonic Frontiers, and they stick out like sore thumbs. Meanwhile, most of my Wii games have a white spine with plain text and a Wii logo, but it unites them all. Of course, there are exceptions, but I weirdly don't mind. Except for these ones.
Fuck off, Disney. I think I speak for most people when I say alphabetization is fun. If you start doing it before your walls look more plastic than concrete, then it can be quite fun to maintain as your collection grows and grows. But where the fuck am I supposed to put a game that starts with Disney Pixar? Do I put it under D for Disney or U for Up? It's the same for this Nickelodeon SpongeBob game. Does it deserve to be filed under N for Nickelodeon or S for SpongeBob?
My own childhood idol turning his back on me. Good thing I was a Cartoon Network kid then. Okay, got that rant out of my system. I only need 2 more today to reach a total anger peak, and then I'll finally be ready to become a teacher! What's on the shelf that I can get really riled up about? What's here that can really piss me off? The colour red. The colour red!
Some people often equate me to a bull. Whenever I see the colour red, I get angry and headbutt things. I've been through 5 switches at this point, it's a problem. So when I saw Sony make their PlayStation Hits line use the colour red and take over the entire spine of their games, my wall has not been the same since. I think most companies have their own reduced games line that they use to attract consumers to older games that have stopped pulling their weight when it comes to moved units. Sony has PlayStation Hits, Nintendo has Nintendo Selects, Force of Habit, and Xbox has everything. I get why they might have to slap a banner across the front of a box, but dude, come on, why the spine too? It's worse that I have both God of War 3 and God of War 2018 as PlayStation Hits, because I've got a double-sized eyesore on my PS4 collection and there's no way for me to fix it.
From squished logos to wraparound artwork to just straight up giving up, box spines are something that seem easy to perfect but usually end up failing miserably. I do get that there might sometimes be a legitimate reason that the companies can't print the spine of my dreams. But I really care about my spines, okay? What can I say? They're important. They all deserve to have their own personalities with matching indicators to show what console they're on. Looking at you, PlayStation 3. Wait a minute.
Holy Okay, so we've had aerial fonts, no wraparound art, shitty red indicators, and you decide to pull this? The stupid Spider-Man PS3 logo is here. There's an aerial font with no wraparound art that still manages to be hard to read on a plain metal background. And no, not just the spine, but the entire case has had a silver fucking bath. But what's even worse is that Sony aren't even the only offenders. We have 2 more on Wii! New Super Mario Bros. Wii and Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. Holy shit, what a title. I don't know what possessed Nintendo into thinking these were special releases, but here we are! This isn't even the first Mario and Sonic game. Hell, this isn't even the first new Super Mario Bros. Game. Why does it need a red box by default? They stick out so much and so obnoxiously. There's practically zero reason for this, but publishers do it anyways.
God, I'm so fucking mad right now! I need to let my anger out on something right now. Literally anything I can hit. Not that wall, one more tap and it falls to pieces. You know what? High class emergency anatomy lesson. This is my finger and it has muscles in it, and when I move it, I can do this! I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, and I despise you, Jason, you class clown wannabe! None of you will grow up to be anything special, and honestly, I'd quit night school while you're ahead. Now f*** off and get out of my sight. I lost my teaching license.